Welcome to another episode of Barry's Star Wars Rebels Review. This week it's episode 13, Legends of the Lasat. Stick around for this one. Alright, in this episode the crew of the Ghost is off to rescue a couple of refugees. And this is an interesting episode in a couple of ways because our good friend the pirate Hondo is back. So Ezra has been in contact with Hondo, and Hondo has informed him about these refugees. But unbeknownst to the crew, Hondo has also made a deal with the Empire. So he's sold the refugees to the Empire and also informed the Ghost crew to come rescue the refugees. So good old Hondo the pirate playing both sides of it and getting paid twice. This episode was really centered around Zeb. Zeb was more of a main character early on in the first season, but then he kind of stepped back a little bit, became just this, kind of supporting character. And here in this episode, he comes front stage. It's his episode. It's all about the Lasat, his people. And so the two refugees that they are there to rescue are two Lasat. So the old mystic Lasat and the other Lasat, they perform a ritual, and it's the Lasat. They're tapping into the Lasat version of the Force to try and figure out where their planet and people are, where they can go as refugees and live with the Lasat people. And it turns out that Zeb plays a big part in this ceremony and in this prophecy. It's interesting because Zeb thinks that most of his people are gone. The Empire had devastated the Lasat people, and Zeb, we find out, was captain of the guard, and he feels this tremendous amount of pressure and regret because he feels he failed his people in allowing the Empire to destroy the Lasat. But finding these refugees and realizing that there are more of his people, I think it's a burden for him in multiple ways. He's feeling that regret of his failure, but also the hope that his people will continue. They were faced with this obstacle as they were traveling light speed. They jump out of light speed to find this collapsed star cluster, which basically it's like a black hole, except for this wasn't black. It was kind of cool with little swirlies and stuff. It was pretty neat in that sense. But Zeb was really the answer, and he used his bow staff rifle deal to kind of tap into the Force a little bit. It's a cool little thing that's all it pulls out, and it's kind of electrified. He uses that to guide the Ghost and protect it as it's flying through this collapsed star cluster. And a couple of TIE fighters come out because they're chasing him down, and they break up, and it was really cool. They're like, but the Ghost is protected with this electrical field going around it. And really cool part too was Kanan and Ezra come up behind him, and they're like using the Force with him, and they're like getting it to they're powering and guiding the ship through this star cluster. And so that was pretty interesting. It activates the hyperdrive, and they go whoosh right through it, and what do you know on the other side? It's like a hidden, unmapped world where they locate the origin of the Lasat people. So the planet that was invaded by the Empire was called Lasat, and that was destroyed, and most of the Lasat people there along with it. However, what they located beyond the star cluster was Nirison, which is actually the origin planet of the Lasat people. And it turns out there are more Lasat people there living. The refugees go there to live, and now Zeb can lead other Lasats back home, essentially. So, all in all, I did like this episode. It was an interesting little sidebar episode, and I thought it was a little bit more interesting than some of the past episodes. So I'm going to rate it a little bit higher. I think I'm going to give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. I'm really hoping that future episodes really start getting good. I want to see some of these Sith temples and the holocrons, and what's up with that green crossbar lightsaber that Ezra finds. I really want to know what's going on with that. I want to see some cool stuff there. I know the end of the season has a lot to offer, and we just haven't seen it yet. That's the episode for this week. As always, subscribe to the channel and leave your comments below. What do you think is going to happen with that green crossbar lightsaber? Who do you think that hooded guy is? Some people are saying it could be Darth Maul, but I don't know. That would be interesting if they brought Darth Maul back into the Rebels, because he was in Clone Wars. They really did a good job of developing that character in Clone Wars, so that would be interesting to see if he comes back here. It doesn't sound like him, though. I don't know if I'm on board with that. But who is it? Is it a Sith? Is it a Gray Jedi, maybe? I'm interested to see this. So, once again, tune in next week, and we will continue to review these episodes. So, thanks for joining me. We'll see you next week.